Welcome back to another episode of Selective Ignorance, the podcast where we admit loudly that we see everything and then we pretend that we didn't. Today, let's talk about the monster in our pockets. Not the rent that's due at the top of the month, but I'm talking about social media. The apps that you swear you're just checking real quick and then suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you're mad at somebody you don't know. And you've aged about 3 years in the process. Here's the question though. At what point do we say enough is enough? When do we log off, close the app and admit, yep, maybe the internet isn't a real place. So why am I letting it wreck my life emotions? Because one minute you're laughing at a meme and the next you're spiraling over some stranger's hot take on whether Beyonce can sing or not, whether Bad Bunny is Mexican or Puerto Rican, or that ice is going to be outside of the Super Bowl or not. Yes, I'm referencing one of our recent episodes. Here's the question though. When do we break this cycle, right? We consume, we scroll, we laugh, we cry, we rage comment, and then we wonder why our moods feel like they're on shuffle. The wildest part, we let it happen to ourselves. We let timelines, trending topics, and troll accounts have more influence on our mental health than actual people in our real lives. And yes, y'all, I'm a victim to it too. I hop on this goddamn microphone almost weekly and cuss y'all out for saying something about me that I disagree with. But today we're diving into it. From the viral stories that make you question humanity to the tweets that have you rethinking your sanity. We're unpacking how the things we consume online latch onto our moods and how to know when it's time to pull it all back. Because if we don't learn to set the boundary, we'll keep living in a world where our happiness is held hostage by Wi-Fi and these goddamn apps, and you can't blame Elon or Trump for everything, okay? Anyways, y'all, I'm diving into it this week with my super producers, a king and Puerto Rican Jayson.
Hey, gang.
I don't even know if Jayson, that sounds more Italian than Puerto Rican, but I'm really bad.
I thought it was giving French.
Even that, listen, I was in the south of France saying gracias. So I give up. Why are you looking at me like that?
She started this entire series, this podcast show in patois. And now we're episode 30 something.
That is true.
And now we're doing France.
You know, and I thought it was Espanol, you know, in honor of the Super Bowl. I don't even know what that accent is. I'm really bad with accents. And apparently,
when I first met her, I thought she was Puerto Rican.
Don't do that.
Her and Weezy, when I first met them.
And you know what the problem is?
That was because of the light skin.
No, it's giving racism.
No.
You would have called ice on me not knowing nothing.
They said Mandi's like the Vin Diesel of podcasting because she could be anything, yo.
Right.
Now you know that's a goddamn lie. Y'all both choosing to be ignorant early on. Okay.
She had all the characteristics. Light skin. She was residing in the Bronx. So automatically it's like, oh, okay, she's...
Automatically, that's...
My thing was, is she Dominican or Puerto Rican?
First off, if I'm in the Bronx, a bitch could have been on Gun Hill Road with the Jamaicans. Okay? Thank you very much.
It's giving Puerto Rican.
I don't like both of y'all saying actually no, bitch.
Because it was you and Weezy. If you was by yourself, maybe the laws of probability would have been in that favor.
When we ever entered the room together, did you ever hear me say hola?
When y'all spoke,
before
they spoke. That's what I'm saying.
Before they spoke.
After they spoke, all right, they niggas.
He said, oh, Florida.
Wow, we are leading into the ignorance here.
That's a question. Is that a Florida thing? Monster in your pocket, the rent due? Is that a Florida thing?
So you don't know about the rent being due?
Monster
I know what the rent didn't do.
It's crazy.
But that's what I'm saying.
Wait,
Monster in your pocket is crazy.
First off, it's because y'all niggas wanted to pause me, and I could talk about monsters being in pockets. Are y'all mad because y'all thought of dick?
Monster
y'all thought of dick.
I thought about what the monster...
I mean, because it's you.
Monster.
Right. But then when you said not the rent due,
HIV.
but I'm talking about social media, and I was like, yo... I was like, people call the rent the monster in your pocket. I didn't know. If that's
I mean, it's a little figure of speech. I mean, the monster in your pocket is rent because it's draining a hole in your pocket.
I'm gonna have to go on ChatGPT and check that out.
Here we go. Go ask Chat. I'll be asking Chat everything. I mean, A King, who edits all the episodes, literally said, bro.
Put the burden
he
on
said,
me
he said, bro, that episode last week with you and Carla, he said, I went from being mad at you to being mad at her and didn't know who I was more mad at.
Yeah. So when Carla was on the episode before the Purple Party, when her and Ray Daniels was on there, they was crazy, both of them. But
then the one
but today, well, not today. When I was doing, I'm like, what the fuck? Who is? Yo, you just leaning into your. It sounded like you don't want no parts of what religion has to offer?
We haven't done
and the premises of hope.
We're gonna have to do a religious episode because and I guess we'll start with well, if you guys listened to last week, I talked about going to a mega church. We're
gonna have to have a guest.
We're gonna have to have a guest.
Would you have a guest for the Nation of Islam here?
Like the one that went to jail, or one that like?
Yo. So she said, did they convert?
Like, was it a conversion or were they born into it?
Well, I mean, all religions have niggas who went to jail. It's
whoa.
It's not about the religion.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about, did he find religion in jail? That is different than being born and raised in the church.
So finding religion in jail is not legitimate?
You're not going to sit here.
Different is what she wants to say.
At the top of the episode, I don't want to piss the people off when we talk about mental health. You want me to piss the people off?
I'm stressed out. My mental health is poor. Everybody's shit is poor.
Okay, so you know what's crazy? I align kind of when somebody goes to jail and finds church is the same way I be viewing bitches who break up with a nigga and then find God. Like when you have to, and to me, when it stems from you being at the bottom.
It'd be like, I found Jesus today.
You know what I mean? It's
not last week.
I mean, and I do believe in people being able to shift in their journeys.
Of course.
Whatever that looks like.
And things will spook you out to find a spiritual source.
Oh, that's why.
Asking questions.
I ain't gonna hold you. That's why it made me mad. I text one of my little boos because he asked me if I listened to the Lucci album, and I was like, not really a fan. I know he did time and niggas tried to kill him, so I knew there was a hit on his life.
Yeah.
And literally, he's asking me about this album, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out. I go on the internet. Y'all know that the phones be listening to us. The monster in your pocket. You know they be listening to you. Yo. So the first thing on my timeline is this fat fuck. No. Talking to Zoe Spencer, a streamer, telling this little girl that she need to get her titties done. Sitting there looking like a raggedy ass fuckwad. So I'm like, bruh, there was a hit on your life. You went to jail. You got out. You got a second chance at life. And you out here gonna spend your life living, telling bitches they gotta get their titties done when you got bigger titties than she do. And
maybe she had a double mastectomy and she needed.
But that's what I'm saying.
Maybe he's a health advocate.
Okay, well she didn't. Let's be like, you leaning into like she beat cancer is crazy also. But Jesus Christ.
but it's all performative though.
No.
Entertaining. They know this shit is fuck shit, but they just want to entertain.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
Okay.
No?
All right.
It worked.
Right. I guess. It didn't work because it said, it made me be like, oh, I ain't listening to nothing this nigga got to say. I ain't listening to nothing that man got to say. Yeah. Like, it's why I be mad at Thug.
Promo works two ways.
Bro, I used to love Thug. I need Thug to just go wear dresses and be quiet again, baby. I don't want to hear nothing but you on your, like, and we'll get into a clip from Thug later. We going to get into it. But I did want to start off with like a quick update. And because I have journalism Jayson here, Weezy and I actually had a difference of opinion on what took place last week. Both she and I were honored at the Sheen Magazine Awards here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Big things.
It was cool. And while I'm not going to shit on the full production of it, and when I say that, I'm just going to briefly let y'all know, Weezy was flew down here for this event. We had a car service pick us up. And for whatever reason, the hostess decided to say, unfortunately, they're not here to accept their award tonight. And the whole audience had to look at us like, ain't that you? Ain't y'all here? Like, and it became just real
poor
awkward.
Communication.
It was really bad. But what I wanted to lean on, because I'm there's a teetering conversation of whether what we do as podcasters are journalists, right? And so we get on the red carpet, and when we check in, first off, let me back up a little bit. So we get there, and there's a red carpet line. The red carpet line is probably like 20 people, and I go straight to the front, not only because I don't like lines, but, whoa, these people are probably more so attendees. We're actually being honored tonight. I'd like to go back into the green room and sit down because it's chaos. It's chaos out here, right? So we finally get on the carpet. When you get on the carpet, there's someone that holds a sign with your first name, last name, what you are, especially if Getty is on the carpet, right? Just so that they know where to place you. So we're going down the carpet. It was very unorganized. It wasn't like previous red carpets I had been to before. But we go down the line. We take our pictures. At the end of it is press.
Right.
And this is where it gets a little chaotic. Now, I do, before I get into talking shit and asking Jayson his experience. So Neighborhood Talk is the first people we talk to off the carpet. And shout out to Neighborhood Talk, because, baby, they immediately know who we are, start asking us about how the rebrand's been going.
Good
questions. Literally, it's dope that y'all are here. And, literally, shout out to Neighborhood Talk. They did their goddamn research. They knew what it was. Right. So the next person we go in line to seemed almost like they just wanted a drop. And so it was really weird because what the fuck? So we go and they put the mic out and say, tell everybody your name, where you're from, and why are you excited about being here tonight? And so we literally had to be like, well, we're being honored, and we're this and that, right? The next person, and this is where by this point, I'm fucking fed up. The next person, he comes real flamboyant. Hey, ladies, y'all are so beautiful. Oh, my God. Do you guys mind talking real quick? Let's get a little quick thing. We're like, of course. So he goes, he takes his little mic and he introduces himself to the camera. He hands me a little mic and then goes, now you tell everybody who you are. And I say, actually, it would be really nice. Could you introduce us to your audience? And baby, he looks at us. He looks at his producer and he's like,
he's lost.
And in the moment, I just be like, you know what, hun? Since you don't know who we are, it's fine. And I hand him his mic back and say, bye. And I completely dead the interview. So we end up having to go to another portion where it ended up being the same. But in that moment, Weezy chose to stay and defended this person not knowing us. Now, we end up...
In Espanol, that would be muy mala.
Listen, what's muy mala? Bad?
Very bad.
So, I ain't gonna hold you. At this point, I was like, if it looked like a bitch, cool. Because, hear me out. Not that I think everybody knows me. Let's be very clear. I don't think that. But, however, if you are at an event and you are on the red carpet,
some professional etiquette.
Bro, I expect professional etiquette. And here's my thing. I don't like extending grace, bringing that hoe to the cookout. I don't like extending grace to black people because it makes me feel like, wait, if I've been on red carpets and even AVN Awards, we got stopped by people who kind of were familiar, or at least knew that we were nominated XYZ Element of P. I've worked with the MTV Movie Awards. They knew who I was for my dating show. Yeah. I don't like that we have to extend the grace for our community to show up unprofessionally. We should. I don't like that. So
y'all was on the cover of that magazine.
That's what I'm saying.
You ready?
That's
you ready?
As a host,
you ready? Not only
even
that,
if you didn't know, there's some homework you have to do.
When you walk in the room, our goddamn cover is as soon as you walk in. You ready? The VIP bags that were being handed out.
The cover was in there.
It was our cover. Bro, me and Weezy actually looked like our pictures. We looked glammed up the night up. So I was just like, damn. So it went into, well, in that case, we can blame. So Weezy's idea of it was blame production. They weren't given one sheets. Now, let me lean into my first time on the red carpet, because then she also tried to use the excuse of his age. Guess my first red carpet and my age. You ready? I was 20 years old. Guess what carpet? Oh, baby, the ESPYs. And big one. This was 2011. Yeah. This was the year that the Dallas Mavericks won the national championship ring. I think they beat Miami.
The NBA Finals, yeah.
This was the NBA Finals in Miami. They beat LeBron and them. And I'm a part of the ESPYs. I was credentialed media at the time under Black Sports Online. Shout out to Robert Littell. And I went in there, bought my own little camera, and this is mics before you even know, this is 2011, y'all. So this isn't where my interviews are straight just going to Instagram. This is, I'm chopping up this footage and using it. I'm taking my own pictures with whatever phone I had at the time. And when I tell you, I know basketball. What I don't know is every other sport that's there. And guess what I did? Before anybody walked up, or as people were goddamn walking the line.
I already know what you're going to say. Who's that? And then you look on your phone.
I'm asking the people around, who are they? I'm Googling, and I'm making sure before they get to me, I'm able to question them about them. Yeah. Because in no way am I going to sit here and be talking to someone that is actually giving me their time, because these are the celebs here, right? Yeah. So I'm actually interviewing people. I want to know the best questions to ask them and what they have going on. Yeah. How, as the people being honored, one of only 5 other people being honored, and the people who just graced the cover of this entire magazine awards, not recognized by any of the press on the red carpet.
Yeah.
And so
I mean that's on them. That's on the. I call them journalists loosely because I don't know what they are, but that's on them. Every red carpet you don't get a one sheet. If you do, that's nice to get.
It's nice to get,
but at the end of the day, it's like you have to hunt what you kill, right? And so it's like if you're a reporter, you have to report. If you're a content creator, you have to create. And so the onus is on you to do it. So in that situation, it's so easy. Like y'all are literally being honored. So like unless you just showed up 5 minutes ago because somebody just said, "Yo, is you free? You want to cover this right now?" Like you have to have some inkling of like, what are you stepping onto? What are you about to see tonight? And if it's the honorees, like you should have like 2 or 3 questions already. How does it feel to be honored? You look great on the cover.
No. Do you know what we got asked all night? What are you most excited for tonight, nigga?
Generic questions.
Yeah,
that's
pure
laziness.
That's a good at least starter. If it's like, yo, you can get that, and then maybe they can like pivot for a second question or third question. Like I'm not mad at that, the bad questions as much as it's like, tell us who you are because I don't know who you are.
Tell us who you are, bruh.
But see, what's the? I'm thinking as you're talking about it, what's the alternative? The alternative would be the said quote unquote interviewer journalist, right? They will either have to take the L and not interview you,
and that happens.
And then what'll happen is on post the next day when they're capturing all the assets. Yo, we didn't get Mandii and Weezy. Yo, did you see Mandii? Yeah, and then the response would possibly be, "Oh, who's that? Oh, you don't know who they are, but you."
Yeah.
That's why I asked you earlier.
But that's how you learn. You get your learning experience from that.
Right. But the onus, I believe, goes on both the journalist and the entity.
Well, no, for sure. That's what. Yeah, I agree.
What is it that you see in said person that feels that they are qualified to do that?
And right? I think that's how I looked at it. Right, not from an emotional
or pre-production. Make sure you go. You know who's these are the 5 that we're honoring. Yeah. Period. Everything else.
Well, that's still on them.
It's on them, and I think that's my thing. Yeah. I think there was a disconnect between me being emotional about someone not knowing who I am. No, it's not that. But I've done red carpets.
Yeah,
I've been on the media. I've been on the media side. Whenever we book guests. What do we do too? Sometimes I'll send like Jayson. You'll ask for their social media. Let me see what they're talking about. You have to do the work because to me it is a form of respect. Not only a respect for whoever you're interviewing and your guest, but it's also like it's to me a level of professionalism that I think has been lost amongst us by so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say also too, like red carpets. For people who don't know, if you're listening, like red carpets vary, right? Like some of them are like chaos, some of them are quiet. But like the thing is, none of it is exclusive. It's not like an exclusive interview you booked. Like it's a communal aspect of things that's happening, and there's plenty of times where people will turn to the next a crew who's right next to them from the next outlet and be like, "Yo, who's that? Where did I know them from?"
Bro, we did 2 interviews before we got there.
You look right down on your phone. You grab your quick research, and boom. Like there's no harm in doing that because like A. King saying, like that's the actual part of the work. You have to be quick on your feet, and you have to get it. Like
and what I realized too that people were asking, which I thought was crazy, was for drops. So you're not asking anything about what I'm doing. You want me to say who I am and what I do, and then shout your platform out. What are we doing?
At the end. Yeah, you got to give me something.
Bro, there was no questions. Yo, give me a drop. Let them know.
You got to take me on a date first. You got to take me on a date first before you try to like get
niggas want their dick played under the table. They don't even want to feed you. They just like, here, nigga, play with my dick. Like, what are we talking about? It was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, it was like, but for me, I a bit internalized it yet again. I think this year has felt like, as I'm being awarded for something, I'm taking, I'm knocked down on my feet 10 steps back. And I do want to shout out Barry and even kind of what Wayno said a couple episodes ago, like in order to be seen once, you got to be in 15 different places, right? Yeah. And so a part of me was like, well, all right. I got a lot of work to do. That's all I just kept.
But I also think too, like you do this, right? Like you watch a ton of like you listen to a bunch of podcasts. You're checking everything out online. Like even when we talk about like this podcast, we talk about like we're building this. This is not horrible. This is not like full court
right.
pumps.
This isn't. See, the thing is, this is something different. Yeah,
we're building it, and I think it's less like. Sure, there's some like humility of like I got to keep grinding and doing this, but I think you view it like very much like if you want this, like you got to grind, you got to do this. Like what is we doing?
I mean, I think it goes back to like I guess I want more for people than they want for themselves, but also I really love what the fuck I do. I like this space, whether it be podcasting. So when podcasters even invite me on their podcast and all they want to do is talk about pegging, oh nah, bro, I ain't coming on.
That's crazy.
They all bro, I don't limit me to that. And so it's just frustrating because I'm like, bro, if you don't even know I have selective ignorance, I'm really not coming on. If you don't know I'm a New York Times bestseller, I'm really not coming on. If you don't know, what I mean? That I got my own radio show now, I'm really not coming on. I do a lot of work.
When the pandemic happened, right?
Yeah.
I noticed people were searching for jobs and trying to figure it out while they was at home.
Yeah.
And one of the things they did, they would go on Instagram, Twitter, or X now, and they would change their bio. Everybody became a content creator. Everybody became an executive producer of nothing. It was just all these titles of nothingness. So I think that this is the end result of that.
Yep.
Where you got said journalists, right? Jayson, there's people that I know as journalists because they're documenting. The definition of journalist is to journal and document culture, whatever it is, news, sports, music, whatever it is. These people aren't documenting. They're just there for the look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At some point, we either had to reset this whole shit, continue to reset, because I think we're in a reset. And just like you was able to mention all those qualifications, all those accolades. Like if y'all not there on that bar, you can't call yourself that creator.
Or you can be someone really green. Well, you could be someone really green, but if I see you out and you are executing your shit in a professional manner, bro, I respect that. Don't come out here and just think somebody owe you a conversation because you gonna throw a mic in their face. Bro, asking for a drop was crazy.
That is wild. A drop only.
A drop was
only.
crazy.
That is wild.
And then shoot them like, yeah, it's Mandii and Weezy. And they're like, oh, Mandii and Weezy.
We'll see. Maybe they don't know who Mandii and Weezy are. I don't know, child. Well, we're going to bring it back. I don't think I've done it for a little bit, especially here with my producers. We are going to double down or take it back. And have I taken back anything yet?
No, of course not. That's like,
but Jayson, let me ask you, how much of her not taking it back, you think that's just her being stubborn?
Yeah, it's like when we had Cyrene, and he was like, "My brand, I can't take it back. It's against my brand."
Right.
It's almost Mandii to a T.
Okay, what I have to say here.
Do you want to set it up first? Or I'm
okay, yes. Well, I'm looking at the clip now, and so it looks like you're pulling a clip. By the way, if you guys haven't yet, I was on the Need to Know podcast with Savon and Alex a couple weeks ago. We did talk about the Cardi album, but they also decided to ask me this. So let's see.
All right.
One thing you love and one thing you hate about Gen Z.
The thing that I love about Gen Z, they're much more open to not leaning into super traditional ways and mindsets of thinking. And then the thing that I hate about Gen Z, stop making all these dances. Like our dances as millennials, I can do as a non-dancer. These can take
elaborate, right?
They got a count.
We had chicken noodle soup. It was easy. I was just getting light.
I could do that.
That was easy.
Was easy. The hardest one was y'all bringing the Harlem Shake. So to me, I would say that's the thing I hate. That everything's a
What's one?
Okay,
that's hilarious.
I mean, I clearly stand by this. It's crazy because one of the things that I didn't mention that I hate about Gen Zers was actually kind of a little bit about my rant. Now, I do think that they're lazy and entitled as well. But in terms of how they show up in relationships, they're a little bit more open to breaking the norms. And clearly, they're a lot more in tune with their mental health. I think so. I think
they do that because that's part of being lazy. They don't.
Wait, what do you mean?
That's just they're not going to do. They're not going to go to. They're not going the extra mile, right?
Oh,
so
you think?
Whatever.
You think them being lazy is tied to them knowing about their mental health?
I don't think they know about that shit.
Oh,
I think they're very antisocial.
Okay, they are that.
And the pandemic.
The pandemic did some damage.
These are kids who became adults and missed that 4-year block of interaction.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and scenarios.
I couldn't imagine those that didn't get graduation.
The job hunt. I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking at how kids are of job age and they're applying and they're expecting and they're quitting out the gate. They're like giving up. Like, all right, you don't get an answer back. You keep pushing.
Let me ask both of y'all questions because y'all real old.
That's crazy.
In terms of
you about to be there. You
don't do me. Don't do
you
me.
got a birthday coming up.
Andrew. I'm about to be 25. Okay, so let me ask you then. If we're leaning on even this topic, and I want to compare y'all's generation. Y'all are.
This is insane.
Wait. Y'all ain't millennials, right? Y'all the ones above it.
Nah, I'm tail end of Gen X.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know what Gen X, I guess. Yeah.
How old are you?
Listen.
Okay, Gen X. So we got Gen X millennials, and we're both talking about
XYZ. Oh.
I'm Gen Y.
Ken, you could be a Zennial too. That's like
some people tell
Gen
me
X millennial.
You're the last. You're right there.
I bounce in between because of character though, but because I relate. I'm relatable. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I just want to look at A-King's browser tabs.
Niggas want to be young so bad. But anyways, so let me ask y'all then. Mm-hmm. If y'all can go back with the knowledge you have now about how these companies don't really give a fuck about you, about PTO, about really like this idea of going the extra mile and showing up every day on time or showing in early and staying late and giving a company all you got, even at the expense of your mental health. If you knew what you knew today, how you operated back then in whatever settings that made you show up that way, would you do it the same way? And why? Or would you show up kind of like these Gen Zers where, no, this doesn't feel good for me. I don't like it here. It's making me miserable. I need to stop, focus on me, and go somewhere that makes me happy. Which is kind of how they operate. You know what I mean?
And I appreciate that, yeah.
You do appreciate
Gen Z is like the boundaries generation, right?
Yeah.
Like setting boundaries. Yeah, I mean, I would still do it the same way and still hustle hard and like grind it out, but I would also be cognizant, like to your point, like I would have tried to learn the lesson that like they don't care about you earlier and really like rallied my peers to start something on our own more. Right, like there's an expiration on this because they don't care about us. So like, let's get in, get bread, get the experience, and then 5 years from now, like let's start our own.
You know, I definitely think that there was a brain.
But I wouldn't have looked for like the comfort.
I think that's the thing. There was a brainwashing element that if you do everything right, that you're gonna retire with the money you need to, and that this company would look out for you. Right, like there was almost a false sense of loyalty to a company that I think even we as millennials adopted. We believe that, which is why we're all in fucking debt right now, getting all the degrees that people said, if you get these degrees and get these type of jobs, you'll line yourself up to be perfect. And millennials are the most overeducated and least employed generation that we've seen. And so for me, I mean, there is an element of laziness, yes, especially when I talk about interns, because for you to come and want to get paid top dollar when you don't know the craft or don't have a skill is tricky. But I also understand kind of demanding your worth and knowing that these fucking companies will even do a goddamn freeze.
But I also think there's a difference between demanding your worth and like wanting to be paid for your potential, right? And that's the thing that I always worry about, like with young people, right? Like there's and also too, like A-King mentioned it, like missing that 4 years of interaction, whether it was like your high school years or your college years.
Life development.
Yeah, there's life development. And you know what life development includes? Setbacks.
Yes.
Right? Like setbacks,
adversity.
Heartbreak, adversity, right? And how you adapt to that. So that way when you get into the working force, you know, like you'll know how to respond to like challenges, right? And like, you know, you'll also you'll be well equipped for like your first like professional heartbreak. Like, you know, like we all have, like you'll get your career and you'll say like, I'm finally in it. This is where I wanted to be. And then inevitably you'll get fired because this is companies and that's just America. But you'll have your heartbreak.
Or laid off or not get the promotion.
Or laid off, even better. You'll probably get laid off. And it's like, I thought I was going to be here for 5 and 10 years. And next, you know, like I did a year at the place and, you know, now you're like, that affects you for your next job role. And, you know, you have to be able to learn how to like take the punches and keep going. Not to like simplify it, but you know, there's an element of like, you have to manage yourself and it's not all about your comfort at the beginning. There's a trade-off of sort of like what you're trying to take away, which is experience.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people
what are you worth?
Well, you know, we've had that conversation.
What are you worth? What have you done?
I'm worth a whole lot.
No, not you, but I mean,
for y'all listeners, what are you worth?
What are you worth? What have you done?
What are you worth? And if your job
isn't
isn't giving you the money, unfortunately, you have to stay because the job market sucks right now.
Right.
That part too.
Hold on to that.
Hold on to that job. I would never tell nobody to quit a job. Even I wouldn't tell a friend to stop selling pussy. I wouldn't tell a drug dealer to stop selling drugs. I'm not telling anybody to stop making the money how they making it right now because, baby, it's tricky out here. It's very, very tricky out here.
Facts.
Well, let's get down for some ignorance. And in this way, it's going to be also the way in which we show up ignorantly to ourselves, not realizing that we are torturing ourselves by digging through the clips online and what they have to say. But I'm going to have a little fun with this. I'm going to drop some clips that maybe have come across your timeline. And then we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to talk about how it probably triggered you. So where do we want to start first? Can I just trigger the ladies first, actually? Because here's the problem.
Did you set up why you're triggering them?
No.
Did you set up?
Okay, no. I'm not going to tell you why I'm about to trigger you. But I would love for you all to listen to this clip. Shout out to Trill. He joins me on tonight's conversations. You have most likely, if you like hearing men that know how to speak well, you have most likely seen his clips. And I want to play this clip because it did stir up an emotion in me as soon as I heard it. So Jayson, run the clip, please.
All right, here we go.
A woman really like you is when she want to spend every second of her free time with you. Every second of it. No exaggeration. Like almost to an irrational sense. You understand what I'm saying? Like she could get an invite to go out with the girls. Nah, I want to spend some time with my man. I want to lay up under my man. I want to talk to my man. I want to see my man. Like that's the energy that she coming with. You understand? So many men out here dating women who, he's struggling to get on the phone. Like he's struggling to link up with her to go out on a date. Like he's struggling to get his text returned in a timely fashion. Like that's how you know you dating a woman who don't really rock with you like that. Because a woman who like you, she gonna be calling.
The music,
she gonna be texting.
I hate the music.
Like it's nothing more that she want to do after she take care of her business than spend time with her man. So if that's not the energy you getting, like if you struggling to link, you struggling to talk to her, you struggling to spend time with her, it's time for you to find another woman because she ain't it. How you know?
Well, go ahead, AK.
I think he's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong. I do think that there's. Hold on, this. I think if somebody's interested in someone, the natural thing is they are going to occupy time. That's just
don't water down what he said.
Whether it's phone calls, whether it's in person, the desire and the curiosity is going to be there.
You are watering down what was said.
The issue.
You are watering it down.
Well, how am I? How?
This man said, if her friends invite her out, it's like this is to me a form of how the internet will brainwash you to make you feel. No, this is brainwashing 101. This is pure tactic manipulation on a man who literally wants to isolate a woman or make a woman feel as though if she is not all about her man, then she isn't really showing up for the man. Hear me out. He says in there that a woman that's really into you gonna call out on her friends to come be with you as a man. A woman wants to spend all of her free time with her man. A man, you're not gonna have a problem getting her on the phone, all these things. Mind you, guess what we gotta do as women? Pay our goddamn bills because y'all ain't providers no more. So you telling me that I have to overcompensate myself to be only with you on the outside of me working whatever job I have because I'm paying my own bills, right? And then for you to even manipulate any woman watching that to believe that, damn, my man's not going to believe I'm into him if I hang with my friends. Like there's a part of our mental health that has to exist in our relationships that allow us to still be ourselves and not lose who we are. Our friends and hanging out with them is a part of like us still existing in our own world. As a woman being in any relationship, if a man tells you you have to live in his skin to show him that you love him or you really fuck with him, I have a problem with that being the rhetoric because what it does is it isolates you as a woman and essentially will eventually turn you into being someone that you're not because you're living now for this man. You're not even living for yourself.
Is he suggesting that is the requirement and that's the
right?
Because I was just saying that's the natural desire. I'm not saying that is the actual thing to.
He said,
happen.
"Do you know how?"
I feel like that's what he's talking about.
What you can't suffocate. No one should be suffocating anybody.
What was the question there though, or what was the caption? Literally was, "Do you know how you know as a man that a woman really likes you?" Yeah. That's literally what the sentiment was. So the idea that if I'm not canceling on all my life plans and have my own life, that I'm not that into you, that's crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
So, do you listen to this podcast that this clip came from?
I listen to his clips, and I hold on, and I've toured with Trill enough, to where I've told him in his face a goddamn enough that he pissed me off with this goddamn. Here's the thing: you put
confused about the whole clip.
You put strings over a clip and an LED sign behind a nigga, and he swear he done became goddamn Steve Harvey dropping "Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man" 37.
Yeah, that clip has a whole movie score behind it.
I know, that's really
that's crazy. And then so this is my thing too. The caption says, "A woman that all caps really likes you,
likes you,
all caps, all your time." But then there's a laughing emoji with it, right? And so to me, the clip is confusing because with him saying, "Fellas, if you're struggling to get text backs, call backs, or whatever, like drop her. You want a woman that wants to spend your time."
Yes.
That isolated alone, I can agree with that sentiment. But like the score, the caption, the laughing emoji, I'm like,
it's performative.
I can't tell who he's laughing at. Like, are you taking shots at the girl for being like clingy, or are you taking shots at the dude for being played? Like, I can't even like tell you my take on it because I'm so confused by the execution.
I think there should be a difference between desire and expectation.
Well, no,
your desire is always going to be like, damn, I want to call her, or she want to call me, or those things. I want to spend time, but will it happen? It is impossible.
You can't
give somebody 24 hours, 7 days.
You can't ever.
We gotta make fucking money.
He asking for the other 12 hours. She ain't at work. Got to be up under him. I think here's my problem with the way these types of topics are framed in social media, right?
That part. That's what I want to hear from you.
Yes. So when I get on a microphone, I share about how I navigate my relationships, how my own trauma, what I'm working through, all of those things, right? Mm-hmm. When we see these type of clips, we almost feel the need to adapt these things, especially if our dating lives or relationships aren't working out, right? So we're going to social media to tell us, damn, I'm wrong. I'm not treating this man like I should. We have men now thinking in their minds that, oh, this bitch ain't always up under my skin. She don't really like me. And so inevitably what we have doing is we're being coached by these people that are literally they are saying the things that they know is going to sound good under a pair of strings or a harp. And
non-experts.
No, they're completely non-experts. But when we watch these, mind you know how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
If you stay and watch that entire clip, guess what's going to be fed to you? A lot more clips like that. And so what's inevitably going to happen is now everything in which you thought you were doing right, you're now questioning. And in terms of how you're navigating your own relationships, instead of talking to the woman or the man that you're dating and figuring out what makes you feel good, you're like, wait, my man really going to hang out with his friends? He must not like me that much. Damn, that she going to do a girls' night and she don't want to hang with me? That bitch don't really like me. And so what we're doing is we're naturally internalizing these things. We're battling with ourselves, and because of the pandemic, because we don't know how to craft these conversations with people when things really affect us or impact us emotionally, we start questioning ourselves. And then we literally, damn, are we really together? Does he really like me? Is he cheating on me? Do they? And we do it to ourselves because, bitch, you watched the whole goddamn clip and double tapped.
You know what's interesting too, like, and thank you for sharing that, Mandii, too, because I wanted to kind of get under like what you were feeling about.
You
that
wanted
clip.
To get in my skin?
Well, no, because it's funny because again, the setup of the clip is confusing, but but also too, like when I see these clips and when you say like people are being coached by. It's also like people who are experts at the start of a relationship. Like the start of the relationship is like infatuation, right? And of course you want to be with that person all the time because it's so new, right? And it's like my wife wants her own time, right? Because we're so far from the beginning at this point, you know what I mean? And so it's like when I see clips like this and it's like, I don't know if he calls himself an expert or not, but it's like when you're saying these things and you're like, if your woman's not doing this and you're not doing that, and fellas, you need to do that. It to me, it's so much advice about like the first 2 months of a relationship, which is like, it's like you don't even need advice there. Just be and enjoy and just see what it is for what it is. And if you're together all the time, cool. If she has her own agency and you like hanging out and playing ball with your fellas, like it is what it is. But like, there's sort of like this like over advice like syndrome that happens for like the very beginning of relationships. And it's like, I'd rather hear people be like, all right, cool. When you're 1 year in, fellas, because a lot of people don't always get to 1 year.
Yeah.
Here's some advice. You
hey,
know what I mean?
For the listeners,
get married? Did you
all of those?
Have you had a long term?
No, nobody wants to get married. I'm just saying,
have you had a long term relationship? Like we have to start listening to folks that what's this the girl that was on the early Selective Ignorance, the marriage.
She was dope.
So
Allison.
Allison, right?
Aligned with Allison.
We're aligned with Allison. Why? If she's here, where do they come into play when she's actually the expert?
Well, no, and that's the thing. But she's an expert with an end goal and someone to listen to if you align with that person. I think that's the other thing. We sit here and maybe the clips you're listening to don't align with what works for you. Like I wouldn't sit and take in all of Allison's content because my end goal isn't marriage.
Right.
So I think that
she's very specific.
Yeah, and she's very specific. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. The internet, especially these type of dating rhetorics, have fucked y'all up so much that now you can't go enjoy the chicken piccata and the buffalo wing blasters at the Cheesecake Factory because they done told you that the Cheesecake Factory is a bad place to go on a date and it's wet. Yeah. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, y'all don't let the internet take the good chicken piccata dish away from you. You know what I mean? Like, you literally end up robbing yourself of these things because the places that you once liked, when the internet say it's trash or you shouldn't be there, or a man, if he takes you there, he don't like you. Like, you're robbing yourself of these things because you're listening to what the goddamn internet is telling you, when really, bitch, you know you like that chicken piccata. You know you like them goddamn chicken wing blasts, them Buffalo Wild Wing blasts. Before I had my little surgery now, because it's a lot. It's a lot. But them blasts is so goddamn good at the Cheesecake Factory. You hear me? But that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all essentially allow people to ruin things for you. Like, if I listen to the internet, I would be mad as hell if a nigga took me on a coffee date. Now, if y'all run the taste back, maybe I said it one time, I really like coffee now. Right. I wouldn't be mad. It got to be a nice coffee shop. But I actually like coffee. So in my mind, why am I mad that a nigga want to take me to a coffee shop? Oh, because the internet told me if he take you to a coffee shop, he don't really like you. There's no effort. There's no this. And so we have to like really be able to remove ourselves from the echoes of the goddamn internet and sit with, what do you like? What do you want from a partner? I'm someone that needs alone time. Me needing alone time doesn't mean I like someone less. Bro, I'm just working with this introverted ass way, and because I have to be around people so much, my social battery has to recharge, or I'm not going to be a fun person to be around. And so it's me acknowledging and knowing myself, not listening to what the goddamn internet want to tell me.
How much of our life's timeline has been altered because of social media clips?
Oh, man.
So
that's
much.
A whole episode right there.
So much.
You ever think about that, Jay? Like,
it's not only
go
clips.
10 years. Like,
it's influence.
Right. How much of the course and the journey that we were on, which is still the unknown, right? Because we don't know. Yep. But you have to think that this influence has led us somewhere else.
We've always
in relationships, in business, in interaction, in all the things.
We've always been influenced. Let's be very clear.
True.
So
true.
When the pop girlies had the low-rise jeans on, that's what we were all wearing, right? When the niggas had the tall tees down to their ankles, guess what they were doing? Those were dresses, but the guys were wearing tall tees, right? And it's funny because even if I go back to MySpace days, if we bring it back to social media, at one time I was a gangbanger. I was a blood. And not because of anything, but I had a friend.
What do you mean you was a blood?
So I was a blood.
On MySpace?
On MySpace. No. This was on
I thought
MySpace.
Mandii was part of the drop your flag challenge. I'm like, what happened?
Oh yeah, no, I knew a whole set too. I was Pyru allegedly.
What?
Oh, I swear. Okay, but it's because
Whack 100 your big homie.
Listen, no.
Ooh.
But
we gotta get him on the phone.
But I had fell into gangbanger territory on MySpace. And at the time,
this
I
is
swear to
insane.
God, I swear to God.
Yeah.
What you put
But
your,
I
you put your
think
banner,
this-
you
No, I had the
folded your
red
banner
bandana.
with the.
No, I had the red
red
bandana.
background.
But I don't know
Hack
for
the
the
HTML.
y'all,
Had like
okay, now y'all just laughing at me. But if y'all remember back when we all used to be coders and learned HTML, there used to be these like glitter stickers with the girls that looked like Bratz dolls
You had
that
the
were dressed.
paisley joint.
And I had one with the goddamn red thing. You couldn't tell me. And then I had
Who was in your top 8?
Oh no! I had at
People from
least
your
2 or
set?
3. Yes, I had 3 people from the set.
Yo,
Let's be very clear.
every day is you learn something
And
new
then-
about this one.
Flag it
right
on the
here.
8.
No, facts. And I had this is back when Thuggish Ruggish Bone was my MySpace song.
Oh, shit.
I loved it. Now I don't know if they're gangbangers, but I think I remember some bandanas hanging out their pockets. There was a lot of them though. At the end of they're apparently like coming back or going on tour or something, but it's all of them. So it's like 7, 8 niggas, bro. I'm like, hey, I just want Crazy, Lazy, Wish, and like I don't want all
Shout out
the
to
other
Bone
ones.
Thugs.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
Bone
yeah.
Thugs and Harmony.
For
Oh my
sure,
god,
for sure.
Crossroads. Literally, I'm in elementary school, and they say, "What's your favorite song?"
Bro, they used to play
up
that
through
shit.
through 5th grade, Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony was my favorite.
Thuggish
record.
Ruggish Bone had the drop at the beginning. I think it was like with George Bush.
We
saying
not
the
we not
gangbangers.
against thugs.
Exactly,
We not
yeah.
against, but we are against those. Yeah, something like that.
That why you in red right now?
Am I? No. Oh, my nails do be red. Still setting. No, I'm just lying, guys. Do not
Jason, I
clip
just want
this
to
up.
point out she did live in the Bronx.
And I also lived in
Bronx
Florida.
is, you know,
but
heavily-
there's no really. Yeah. Anyways, going back to that is the influence of social media. I think it's
100%.
always been there, right? It's always been there.
But I do think it's changed a bit, and I just want to say this at the end
Yeah.
so we can move to the next topic. But I think like what you're saying, Mandii, too. It's like before it was like it's trends, and it's like communal trends that happen in our regional pockets, right? So that's why I was like in Florida, people were doing this, in New York they were doing this, in Philly and DC they were doing that.
Yeah.
But now when you talk about MySpace, so now you're getting like this like post geographical influence where it's
Right.
like West Coast stuff is coming to Orlando and you're banging on your top 8. And I think that's what like A King is alluding to when it's like you ever sit and wonder how social media has altered the course of stuff. And you know,
for sure.
it's done amazing things, right? Like it's with full court pumps at your at handle, like it's changed your life. But then to A King's point, like it's also altered things for other people where now they hear this dude talking about if your girl's up under you too much, it's this. You know what I mean?
And
No,
also,
for sure.
I think we didn't have enough MySpace. They took that away from us too quick.
First off, you probably got on it late because you were old.
No, I
was on the MySpace.
I was on all of them. Friendster,
Hold
Black
on.
Planet,
So much
all
so
that.
to where they blocked it from my middle school. Nigga, we knew about VPN before we should have known about VPN because we wanted to go make sure we could check our MySpace pages in the library.
No, MySpace was like a big part of my early development into this shit.
Yeah, it was for a lot
Like
of
you
us.
said, we were coding before they called it coding.
We was coding. We gonna have to do a whole episode on MySpace.
early
one of these days.
DM days.
Early
That's a
DM
good one.
days.
White
Now,
Tom, Black Tom.
another one that I want to get into, just because I mentioned him and I want to make sure we get into it, especially because we're right in relationships. Before we get to actually, I want to do Kaisanat next.
Yep.
But could you play
Okay.
this clip? If you guys haven't seen it floating around the internet, Young Thug has been doing his round on podcasts, and I wish he would not. He recently sat down on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, Shannon Crowder, and Fred Taylor to discuss a lot of things. Not only his new album, y'all know he's just been released from prison off the RICO, and he decided to say this in regards to his views on therapy.
Let's get into it.
My big sister, my big brother, my dad, my mom, my OGs. I listen to y'all. Like, it's really a slap in the face to me. If I, you know what I'm saying? I just was telling my girl that, like, I don't think you need a therapist. I don't think I need a therapist. I feel like I feel like I'm not a man if my girl get a therapist. It's like, damn, you actually call somebody and listen to what they got to say over me instead of just listening to what I'm telling you. I just feel less of a man.
You know, in that.
That is wild clip.
But remember this, y'all. Before we embrace the idea of therapy, that was something that was in the community. The narrative that therapy is like a bad omen, like therapy, because
Sure, the stigma.
It was seen as a stigma, like something had to be wrong with you mentally to talk to someone. When there's been other cultures that have been embracing this shit for hundreds of years.
No, I get that.
I would be with you if the last line was when he said she could just listen to me.
Well, not only that, and then it followed by, he followed that with, I would be less of a man. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part about this. Like, if we go back to therapy, right? And the idea of what it was, especially as a millennial and y'all old niggas, it was like you can't.
We can't embrace the old man because Jimmy done messed that up. He's the old YN.
Like damn. But like, I loved you with the Don Cheadle. Damn. Oh wait. Kevin Hart. So here's the thing, right? And I want to share a little bit of my journey with therapy before I tap into why this is so goddamn awful for all of us to just see and take in, and unfortunately probably deal with men that are going to adopt this mindset. So early on, and this is why I talk about so many people being undiagnosed, I remember my mom not wanting any of me and my sisters to even get checked for any sort of behavioral issues or things like that, because at one point she was like, if you're diagnosed and have to get on certain meds or have to do this, or it's in your chart that you are this, it won't allow you to go into the military. It will hinder you from getting certain jobs in the future. And there was just this stigma that if you were diagnosed and labeled as, at that point, it was the R word and handicap. That's what people was using back then, right? If you had anything wrong with you, like even I remember the behavioral classes, we called them the slow kids. Like if we go back to kind of how we viewed mental health, it wasn't a safe space at all. Fast forward, when we first started Horrible Decisions, I remember Weezy was talking about therapy. She was going heavy in the beginning, and we've kind of switched roles on that. But I remember like her asking me about therapy, and I was like, bitch, if you got to go to therapy, it's because you don't know yourself. And I literally used to be like, I ain't gonna sit across the table and somebody tell me who I am. Like, I don't know who I am. And I had that like idea of it, right? Fast forward, I'm 29. That's when I first started my therapy journey. I'm now about to be 35. So I'm 5 years full. It's
that was a good one. I like that. That was timely.
Y'all get on my goddamn nerves. But I'm now into therapy where it's transformed like my everything, right?
Yeah.
And so when I hear this, first off, it immediately screams narcissism, and I'm immediately like, Mariah, get away as quick as you can, because I know Mariah's young. You're young, you're impressionable, and she's
27 and he's 34. Just for listeners to.
Oh, she's 27.
Yeah.
Oh, she ain't as young as I thought.
She's still young. She's just not young.
She ain't as young as I thought she was. Yeah. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Do we give Young Thug any grace, being that he just
Here we go with the grace.
He just came home, and he might not be.
Now he's 34 years old, man.
No, I'm just saying in terms of where he's at with this conversation. Maybe he's just.
You about to blame jail and the pandemic?
No,
why
I'm
he's
just
so
saying,
goddamn?
Maybe he just need time to collect his.
To me, here's the problem. We know what our demo is listening to this pod, right? Mm-hmm. The idea that a 34-year-old millionaire who has a ton of people looking up to him, who has had to be the provider, who has been in all these different types of relationships, that has children, the idea to still give them time when this is the narrative that they're pushing out, no. Because what he's doing is poisoning not only all the people around him, when he sits on a platform like The Pivot, where hundreds of thousands of specifically black men are tuning in, it's absolutely damaging for how those people respond. We already know the homophobia that exists in our community, right? So if we already tie a man playing in his ass as gay, and we tie outfits and colors and nail polish and purses, and there's all these things that attack a man's manhood and masculinity, right? Already. Now you're saying that if your woman goes to therapy, you're also less than a man? Like, that's, I think, the danger in this rhetoric being displayed on that type of platform. So no, do we give him more time? Another 6 years for him to fucking say some bullshit like this when the echo chamber is only gonna get louder? Nah, you 34 years old, nigga. Me and him the same goddamn age. No, I ain't giving him no goddamn grace. The fuck? And he done lived a much longer life where, what did you say earlier about being able to go through heartbreaks and learn from your lessons and all that shit?
Yeah.
That nigga was in the streets.
Yeah.
That nigga probably, like, I think that for a lot of us that had the harder upbringings, bro, we had to learn how to get ourselves on our ass even more times than the person that was fed with the silver spoon. So you have to be able to look at how you treat people, what things have made you feel better, and mental health is a large aspect of it. So for you now to tie masculinity and being a man to whether
over
or not
over
someone else's decision to go to therapy,
yeah,
that's crazy. It's manipulative and it's dangerous for that to be the rhetoric. Because what's going to happen is a woman like me who enjoys therapy, who's going to it and finding this, if men decide to go and lean into this rhetoric, a woman could just be willing to take the steps to enter a therapy journey. They meet a man like Thug who now feel less than a man. It could derail generations of us. Women my age looking to be better. So, I don't think a 34-year-old man needs more time to not spew this rhetoric. And I'm so sick of all these millennials. I told you that's why I don't date these niggas. They all need help. They're all undiagnosed, and none of them believe in therapy. That's why I like the little YNs and the old heads. Because the old heads have got to where they're going to therapy. Because they done dealt with divorce and all that other shit.
And what's your justification for the YNs?
They're Gen Z. They're open. They're more fluid.
You could teach them up.
No, not only can you teach them up, they're more in tune with their mental and okay with getting the help or getting on whatever meds they need to be on. Like therapy now for the last, I would say almost 10 years have been a normalized conversation. Shout out to people like, we have, 19 Keys is a little hotepy, but you got men like him. You have Charlemagne. You have. Even it's a little hotepy. But even to be fair too, like it's why I love what Rashad and Troy are doing with Earn Your Leisure, bro. Yes, we have how this can impact your mental health, but there are resources out there now to make you better people. 100%. You just got to lean into that and not get caught up in the algorithm of, I ain't less than a man if my woman go to therapy, because why you not listening to me, ho?
I feel like that's uncle talk. I think we've heard.
Oh, it's uncle talk as fuck.
It's uncle talk. And not all uncles, but we heard that narrative before.
And guess what uncle talk is?
Bullshit.
Nah, they was all creepsters, feeling on little girls, and now that's why they all getting locked up. And when I think of uncle talk, I think of R. Kelly's. Like, niggas with that type of rhetoric, or even when you hear, like, these old head podcasters, sometimes it's like, what you're saying is problematic as fuck. But it's that rhetoric that, guess what they keep doing? Passing down today's sons, or what do you call them now? When you were OG, what do you pass it down? Is it sons?
Pyru.
You tell us, Jay. Slime. What is this?
No, you should have seen me. You should have seen me. I learned how to spell blood with my fingers, and I was so excited. Don't be throwing up shit. Hey, TJ, I need you to blur that out.
I'm waiting for A-King to say stop at 5.
No.
You ain't gonna do stop at 5?
We not doing none of that. We not doing none of that. But yeah, that's my take on that, and I hope that y'all continue to drag him for that take, and hopefully drag him into therapy. That's my hope. The last one, I think I would love to talk about this Kai Cenat talking to Kirk Franklin. And then we'll lean into some other instances that we saw, and then wrap it up with what's happening with the comedy festival over in Saudi Arabia, which before we get there, I do want to shout out to Mark Lamont Hill. There was a recent episode that I listened to of the Joe Budden podcast, which put me onto this mindset because I had no idea of the comedy festival taking place out in Saudi Arabia, who all was in attendance for it. And it really made me think, and y'all are really going to get my honest thoughts when we dig deep into it. But if you want to play this clip, unmute it first, so when you hit play, it immediately goes.
Yep.
But Kai Cenat revealed to Kirk Franklin that he turned down a large sum of money. Hear this out.
Not all money is good money. Yeah. So, I can't, a lot of the times, there's going to be times and opportunities where you're going to want to, get money to do certain things that you wouldn't normally be able to, you wouldn't normally do. 2023, my first mafia thing ever, I was offered $60 million.
You were lying to me.
$60 million to do something something I did not want to do, which gambling and stuff like that. And
what did you say?
And I didn't want to take because I knew it would mess me up. I knew it would make me lose focus on what I got going on right now. I don't know how I even put, because it's so clear up at that time, because anybody was 21. Yeah, I was 21. Anybody would take that.
He would have took it.
Yes. Yeah, anybody would take that. So it's
and you said no?
I said no. So the first thing I did, I went to my closet. We got off the call. I went into my closet and I just asked God. I said, "Listen, I said, I don't want."
Kirk still
but I said no.
clapping.
I said, "I'm gonna say no right now, but I don't want to take the short term. I want to be able to take the long term." And I promise you, I got down on my knees. I prayed after that, and I just kept working. So it's like, but people gotta understand. Chat. What I be trying to make y'all understand is that, bro, a lot of the things in life that comes. Not all money is good money. Like you cannot take. It's sometimes people they want to take the short route. But as long as you believe in your craft, or as long as you believe in God, I don't care by the time I'm like 50 or 60 years old.
Old as hell, like my
financially get to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh. But like, I'd rather take the longer route than short.
Okay, we can stop it there.
I love that.
Now, love this too. And the ways in which I wanted to tie this to our mental health is the unrealistic way in which we not only view money, but I think that the internet has an interesting way with having us question our moral compass, our integrity. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, it leans us heavily into our hypocrisy. And so, oh baby, and y'all already know a part of even how this podcast started was how much hypocrisy I saw just existed in how you present yourself and what you fight for, but also what you do on the back end. And I really like the concept around all money is not good money, right? Because
and he says that a lot.
He says it a lot, but even at the time that he was, it's interesting because I think it's a double-edged sword, right? I think that this is a great message. I think for anyone listening, it's a great message. However, at 21, he was already streaming heavily, clearly, making enough money to get offered a $60 million deal, right? And so when I hear someone who's probably already a millionaire say he turned down this money, and then we have these conversations about all money is not good money, but I know a lot of members in my family, or when I was growing up, we was one emergency away from not being able to eat, or my mom being behind on bills. The idea of what I know people do for money is crazy. Like, I'll be honest with you. I ain't do it. I'm going to say I ain't do it. I don't know the statute of limitation, but there was a part allegedly where there was that iPhone scam where you go in and get iPhones and then you give them to someone to jailbreak and resell them as long as your credit good.
Every day. Every segment we hear.
I'm just saying.
No.
There was a time where it was easy to do that. Yeah. And a year or so later, I Sprint. Why are you on my? I've never had Sprint. I'm confused. Why is it on? But when I go back to think about where I was at that time, of course, knowing it's a scam, knowing it's probably not the right way of doing stuff, and of course, I was convinced that it was. You do things because there's a lot of things that even when you know it's wrong, bro, money. What do they say? They say it's the root of all evil, but it's really difficult to say all money isn't good money and tie that into money when you don't have it.
Yeah, but
just trying to be a decent man in the city of demons.
There we go.
Like people do things for
go ahead and push back.
Reasons,
you want to push back?
Mental
health reasons, financial reasons.
Exactly. That's the jam.
Like, it's easy to turn that down when you're not crying and figuring out how you're going to feed yourself, your family, and put a roof over your head. Like, it's why so many people who don't want to, like women for sure, and I've been an advocate of it, but there's a thing called survival sex. Like, going on dates and dealing with these old white men or dealing with men that are unattractive and having to do things that you would rather not do, but you have no other choice because how you going to pay these bills? There's a lot of women who have done things, have taken jobs, have taken multiple jobs, not because they just want to for the hell of it, but it's because they have to. Even if the jobs aren't good, like, it's why when people say they want to take a woman out the strip club, like, bro, whether you view that place as a place of evil or another woman, if you judge this woman for how she's making money, I saw this and I was like, it means well. But I can't take it from someone who's already a millionaire. I would love to hear someone who's really down and out tell me they turned down a large sum of money because it wasn't good money.
I think I think we need to ask Kai if he can reveal what was said in those negotiations that made him.
He said it was for gambling. and he doesn't align with gambling. He felt like that didn't align with he didn't want to push people to gamble. Because if you think about it, maybe his dad or maybe someone in his family.
Maybe there's something that he's
witnessed,
experienced as a youngin' that he just hold on to. That I can't go down that path,
right?
Which is cool,
right?
Because and also the other part of it too. You turn down $60 million. That means you also know that you have another 80.
Bro, you sitting on a lot, bro.
You know what I mean? Like there's another offer around the corner. That's like, all right, I know I can get that.
Yeah, right. You turned down 60, but didn't tell us how you agreed to 85 just with another company. Like,
right, exactly.
That probably would have competed. So you was like, I ain't take that 60 because I had another couple bags waiting on me. Yeah, it's interesting because when I see clips like this, it does make me sit back like, okay, where would I draw the line?
You would have took the 60
for gambling, nigga. Whenever I go to Vegas, I'm at the sports bets. Like, let me see if I can turn this 100 into 2,500. I guess that's why I wanted to bring up what's happening out in Saudi Arabia, because that was the only thing that when it was positioned, the conversation was had, I did have to think. Mind you, there's a lot of things that I would do for money. I've been bought. I've been sold, bitch. So a part of me and my relationship with money, I do believe everyone has a price. I'm someone who has had a price as well. So I think I would be a hypocrite to say no. But let me read a little bit of backstory on what's happening. Or Jayson, if you could tie in a little bit and let everyone know what's happening with the Comedy Fest out in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so this comedy festival is happening in Saudi Arabia, and big headliners, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Louis C.K., the list goes on and on. I mean, it's huge, much bigger names than like the New York Comedy Festival. And it's happening in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is infamously led by the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. And most people in the U.S. probably heard of his name because his government killed a Washington Post journalist by the name of Jamal Khashoggi after he wrote columns in the Washington Post criticizing Saudi Arabia. And that journalist is also Saudi Arabian. And also, too, like Saudi Arabia is also behind like a lot of sports stuff. So like that, what's that golf league, the alternate golf league from the PGA? What is it called?
Nah, nigga, I don't know nothing about no golf. Nah.
It's what is it? PGA versus, I'm gonna find it real quick. PGA versus Live.
Okay.
So like a lot of golfers went to Live because Live was just paying the bag, like double the bag. They almost pulled Charles Barkley away from TNT Sports to be a golf commentator on Live. They just have like ridiculous amounts of money. People call that like sports washing, where they're trying to like clean their reputation for human rights abuses through like sports and entertainment. And so Saudi Arabia is like infamously known for like a ton of like executions.
I was actually
women are like discriminated against.
I wanted to get into that real quick because that's the part, right? So basically, the issue right now, mind you, Mark Moran, there's a lot of
I have that clip too.
Yeah. Can we play that clip first? Just because I want the audience to kind of realize what the criticism is. And then I'm gonna get into how y'all could be bought. But let's play the clip around Mark and his sentiments on why he believes this goes like there's hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia comedy festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? Like from the folks that brought you 9/11. Oh, shit. 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out,
So basically, imagine your rate is 100,000. Mind you, again, they have even Chris Tucker come out of goddamn retirement. They have, the list is insane, and it's alleged that they were given offers 5, 10, 100 times what their going rates normally are. So some of the things on why this is an issue, the 9/11 joke made, of course, there was also another journalism that went over there and was killed. That's who Mark referenced in his thing. But we over here in America are already fighting for freedom of speech, women's rights, things like that. Here's some of the things that they allow in Saudi Arabia: capital punishment, harsh punishment, and torture. In terms of women's rights, Saudi Arabia's male guardianship system means many women require male guardian permission to marry, travel, leave, prison, or engage in legal matters. They often also face many obstacles in the justice system. While there have been some reforms, like women can now drive, attend events, and in some cases travel without permission, the changes are partial. In terms of also the LGBTQ rights and sexual freedoms, same-sex sexual activity is illegal. Fuck marriage. You can't do any same-sex activity whatsoever. It is punishable, which includes things like flogging, imprisonment, or even the death penalty. So if you are not straight or heterosexual, they can kill you. And another thing that maybe you guys will understand, if maybe you don't care about women, or maybe you don't care about the LGBTQ rights, maybe you're Christian. And so let's lean into the restrictions of religion. Public religious expression that deviates from the officially sanctioned version of Sunni Islam is heavily repressed. So literally any other group of religious beliefs, those groups often face discrimination and persecution, and they can carry harsh penalties as well. So imagine these people who may be, putting up the black posts in solidarity of Black Lives Matter and all these things here. They go to a goddamn country to get a check that essentially has rights against women, same sex, at that point, anything same sex. And again, there's migrant worker and labor rights. There's so many issues there. So if you believe in prison reform, this probably isn't a place you should ever go, because that's what essentially you're supporting by going there. If you believe in women having the rights to choose what they do with their body, or to be able to become victims of sexual assault and things of that nature, why would you go over there? If you believe that we have freedom of speech and freedom of religion and ways in which to exist in the way we do, why would you go and take money from a country like that, right? And so I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I'm clearly here for women's rights. I want the best for LGBTQ communities and things like that. And I don't like that you are leaning back in here, because what I'm about to say is going to make people upset.
That's why.
And I don't want to make them upset, but it's tricky, right? The idea of not being able to go to certain parts of the world that we don't really have any control over. We all have bills and things to pay. And so as I'm hearing people criticize the comedians that went out there to take this money, I was like, damn, is this something I would do, knowing that I'm against all these things? Now, I also want to explain that if you look at my passport, I've been to Israel. I've been to Doha, which is in Qatar, who has very strict rights against women and what they can do. I enjoy Dubai. I've been to Abu Dhabi. I was thinking like, damn, I've actually visited and traveled to places, even South Africa, knowing that they went through the apartheid and what kind of, they're still dealing. I went and did a tour through the fucking townships. Like it was Soweto, which is where, they separate. There's classism in the places I go to. So as I'm sitting here thinking about believing that people, yes, deserve a wage, a living wage, as I believe that women deserve all these rights, as I believe all these things, I also had to sit and been like, whoa, but I have visited and toured the slums in different countries that go against, yes, my personal beliefs, and I didn't get paid, mind you. I paid.
I was gonna say you didn't take a check.
I didn't even take a check to be there. Yeah. But a part of me was like, is there harm in that really?
No.
Like, I don't, because, and in the same breath, right? There's so many people now. We see Vegas and a lot of cities and places in our own country that other foreigners don't want to come to. So I'm also thinking, is this one of, again, the echo chambers that that essentially want to brainwash us to believe that America is still better than the rest of these countries and how they operate? And then when I sit and think, like, I'm here for women's rights, but guess who ain't shit? Some women. Like, I don't believe I could be a savior to all women, even though I believe that we should all have the rights to our own bodies. You know what I mean? So when I was thinking, I was like, damn, I'd probably do a show over there if they paid me. But
I don't think you would, though.
You don't think I would? Throw out a number right now. Throw out the lowest number that you think I would turn down.
So to give you context on numbers, because I'll say this, and I'm going to lose this argument. Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis, yes.
He said he got offered a huge bag to go.
Okay.
Way over his rate.
Okay.
And when he said when he turned it down, said, I can't, I'm busy, he said they doubled it.
Oh.
It's a huge bag. But so saying that,
did he take it after they doubled it?
He didn't. But maybe you would fold like laundry. But the point I was gonna say is,
like laundry, suck my.
I was gonna say visiting a country is supporting the people. Taking money from them is supporting the government. And so I think they're two different things. So just because you visited,
they're hiring you for a service. They're hiring you to,
but that's
and it's entertainment.
But that's not visiting through tourism, right? Like our government sucks. If somebody visits our country, they're not supporting our government. They're supporting the people because they're coming and visiting. But if you're taking money for a show that the government is paying out, that's the no-no, because then you're
I disagree. They're paying the taxes if they go to Disney.
I mean,
they're paying things that
the taxes are supposed to go back to the people.
I mean, you could say that here too. I mean, it's so many layers. Like, I think.
But if you're visiting, it's like when you go to a hood, you're going there because you're supporting the community.
Now let me ask
you. So it's
you
like you're visiting a reason for. But if an oppressive government is like, Mandii, take this check and sign right here, that's something.
Okay, so it's tricky. It's tricky only because if the government is now allowed. Hold on, let me tell you why I think it's tricky. And it's specifically because it's the comedians, right? Even seeing Mark's joke on stage.
And let me give some more names too, so people don't think it's just black people.
No.
Joe Coy, Whitney Cummings, Pete Davidson, Andrew Schultz, Aziz Ansari.
Andrew went out there and did a show by himself. Yeah. But I think in terms of this, right, when you open a country like that to comedy, that we in our country are already looking at as something that really makes you go, it could be problematic, it could be thought-provoking, it could be all these things, right? I think there could be an element in which you believe you're going out there and you're investing in changing the culture of what that country looks like. And I think it's why even in this country, I'm scared as fuck with the idea that the First Amendment can be revoked from us, because right now we do have this freedom, but we see those rights slowly being snatched from us too, right? So I think one of the things that make us so great is that we have these platforms where we're able to talk this way. And I think that in a country like Saudi Arabia, where women just got the opportunity to be able to go to events, I think having these type of thought-provoking individuals, which I do find comedians, especially the names you said, to be brilliant in their delivery and their way to make you really go, I think that it could be a culture shift in a country that we currently don't align with.
On a transactional appearance that you're getting paid by the government. I don't think they're going to be there full brilliant self.
I was about to say, I need to see the contract. I need to see the contract.
One trip ain't changing anything.
I need to see the contract. Because if they're able to really dig in on the government, like what we're seeing South Park do with Trump on their new episodes, if they're able to really poke holes.
But Trump's not paying them. This is them being like, we kill people for fun.
Well, no.
And we're going to pay you.
Trump didn't pay them directly, but in order for them to get that $1 billion deal from Paramount, Trump was a part of stopping it and making it go on, and he inserted himself into that deal.
And that's why
but the bank didn't come from the government, and this is government money that they're taking to do the comedy show.
I think it's tricky when you also separate the government. Well, when you separate the government and billionaires, when we know our president has become a billionaire since entering office only 10 months ago, I think there's a thin line between governing and seeing what these people are doing from a business standpoint. And we know that they're dipping their hands in the motherfucking pots. That's why Eric Adams said, I won't be running for mayor in the next, because he done got caught putting his hand in the goddamn cookie jar.
Well, you see the Saudis made a big play the other day too when they just purchased EA Sports.
Yeah. Oh, is that what they did too?
Billion.
Well, also,
and Trump's son-in-law is part of the
so,
and a private equity group.
So I have friends that last December spent about a week in Saudi Arabia. Spotify was out there and Billboard. And so they had a lot of the music industry out there because they're working on streaming and, of course, what music can be played and things like that.
Of course.
So if it makes sense to drop some of these harsh ways of working legal by bringing in more money to filter tourism and people coming in, I'm kind of okay
Selective
with
Ignorance live show in Saudi Arabia 2026.
I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely Selective Ignorance.
But you're jamming two things together that aren't together. Like, again, this comedy show, it's not like it's an independent comedy show and it's like some promoter doing it. It's the government doing it, right? Like it's the government's tourism group that's doing that. They're whitewashing their money through it. That's one thing, right? Like if a promoter sets you up and wants to bring you out there, that's completely different than the government who does all this foul shit and writing it. That's the part where it's not tricky, right? Like it's you wouldn't take it. And again, I'll say this, and I know I'll be wrong. You wouldn't take a check from Trump, I don't think.
But what if you
how much is the check? I
knew you were gonna say that shit.
But what if the check allowed you to contribute in?
That's what I'm saying. What if I donated it to Planned Parenthood?
To what?
I would to Planned Parenthood
to causes and things that you do care because it's your money. What you do with it is your business.
I agree, sure, but we're talking about these people right here. This list of these comedians. These comedians ain't coming back with this money and being like, that's like saying trickle down economics. Trickle down economics is just a Ponzi scheme. Billionaires aren't getting tax breaks and being like, oh, here, y'all take it. They're buying properties in the Hamptons. You know what I mean? So it's not, I wouldn't look to Andrew Schultz and Bill Burr
so now
and
you
Dave
don't want
Chappelle
now you don't want black now you don't want black people to have generational wealth and pass down real estate to their
question was, are they helping everybody else?
They're helping generationally black people be homeowners.
He said to help causes. He didn't say to help their family.
So my family not a cause?
It could be help causes quietly.
Right.
That's the other part of it.
Sure, but you could take cleaner money to help causes. You can go to any other place rather than there. Again, that's why I just don't think it's tricky. And the funny thing is, the way that you set this up, Mandii, right? You were talking about Kai Cenat, and you're like, well, what if a broke person, like, what are they going to do with this money? Now we're comparing apples to apples with rich. Right. Kai Cenat has money, and he said no. all these comedians on this bill have money, and they said yes. And not only did they say yes, some of them are being like, why are you coming at me? Why are you coming at me? Because they're being called out.
And money is subjective, by the way. They might not think they have money, okay?
I mean, how much did the Trump pay when they had the crypto ball?
Well, I mean, of course, like Snoop and Nelly were up there gyrating. I think that's the thing, right? Too, in reading this, a part of us, especially if we see Mark's rant, if we see the other comedians that are frustrated and irate at the decision that all these other people, it causes us as the consumers of social media to go through and almost pick a side. And a part of us wants to be either completely upset that these people chose to do this and not stand for anything. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I wonder if I would do it. And essentially what it does is it creates this. I love the conversation that it could have. But again, it makes you feel like, we live in this individualistic society. We're never going to all come together for a common cause because money can buy everybody. And what I see, even in the comments for things like this, is people being upset. Because now what? The next time Pete Davidson or Chris Tucker or somebody wants to do something, now they're going to have to defend their decision to go out there to Saudi Arabia and get that goddamn bag. And
as they should, by the way.
Listen,
man, fuck y'all.
No, that's being accountable.
But also I think that there should be space for them to explain if they choose to.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Space to explain, cool, but I think she's saying they have to get questioned and asked.
I don't think there's any.
Everything they do, people now. Next thing Pete Davidson does, he could do a Broadway play that's dedicated to his father and the whole 9/11 stuff. He does his press availability. And Pete, you just went to Saudi Arabia. Why did you do that?
I don't think they ask him though. I think there's other people.
They're not gonna ask Pete. I don't think they give a fuck about Pete like that. But I think they definitely gonna ask like a Kevin Hart, There's a lot of people on that
bipartisan
list.
economics.
They're gonna Bill Burr is gonna have to.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah, I would love to hear his take.
He probably is just, in order to shut people up, going to come back over and donate a large portion of it to something.
Yeah,
Which
I can see that.
Which again, that shuts people up.
And I think he would explain it. He'll explain.
People love seeing when people get a bag and they give it away.
So Jayson, let me ask you. So if we get that email at top of the ear, Selective Ignorance live show in Dubai, is that Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. We absolutely
my
should do a
stamps
show.
didn't go that far in the world yet, but would you do
it's
it
okay.
through Riverside, or you coming through?
I'll make sure to include y'all's rates.
Yeah, to do a show there, absolutely. If the government is paying for us to go there, that's different.
Are you gonna ask?
Am I gonna ask what? Who's funding this?
The contract? No, you're gonna ask. Yes.
Yeah.
At this point, then, Jayson, I won't tell you. You gonna enjoy that $27,000 flight on Emirates over there? Though I know you
tell
is.
Me. I could be like, yo, I'm gonna skip.
Nigga, I'm gonna make sure they buy us the flights where there's a shower in our like we got our own cabin on the plane.
Yo, don't listen. Just cover your ears. Don't listen.
Cover your ears, y'all.
I'm gonna cue up this clip of Casanat and saying all money ain't good money.
Just so y'all know, this is literally for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, we're just having a discussion.
Yeah, no, we are. But I guess that's sometimes the problem. I dead ass be telling y'all my brain thought process at the moment it is, and just so you know, I would love the opportunity to grow. So possibly tomorrow, if you see me in the streets, my mind may be different. Okay,
right?
Like, don't hold me to what y'all hear me say on this very day, because it could change tomorrow.
Non-negotiables change every day.
Non-negotiables.
They can change.
Non-negotiables change every day is crazy.
Yeah. They can.
They're not supposed to be negotiable.
People grow every day. And
financially, they can be. Yeah. That's why they gave Shy. Yeah. They doubled his the offer, right?
Yeah.
It was like, listen,
people grow every day and people regress every day. That's why non-negotiables.
Regressing every day is crazy.
Yeah. Regressing every day is insane. Anyways, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was an interesting convo. I really would love to hear y'all's thoughts. Y'all, we are ramping up on Patreon. I was able to share a little bit with y'all of the setback, but if you guys want to listen to this episode ad-free, make sure you head on over to patreon.com/Selective Ignorance. You can also see the full video there a whole day early. So full video is there on Tuesdays. You can catch the full episode on YouTube on Wednesdays. And then for our Friday drops that y'all are about to start hearing, you will only be able to see the full video on Patreon. I'm also doing something really dope. I think I want to call them like assembly halls or something like that. But once a month, I'll be on Zoom where you guys can join me in on a full live taping of Selective Ignorance. We'll dive through the things that have kind of like made our blood boil over the last month. So once a month, you guys can join me for that. So it's as little as $5 a month, y'all. Again, you're getting your content ad-free, as
Value
well as,
right
I'm trying. We got our team set and going. Y'all, this is my third team since we started 30 episodes in. I feel like, goddamn, once I get on a stripe, I got to fire and hire. But anyways, we are doing good. Thank you, Jayson. Thank you, A-King, for joining us. This was a good talk. I love that y'all always push back on my thoughts, knowing that I ain't shit. But it's because this is Selective Ignorance, where curiosity lives, controversy thrives, and conversations matter. See you next week or Friday. Bye, y'all.